Hi everyone, this is Terry Nazon, world famous astrologer, and this is going to be all about the planet Neptune. So as you may well be aware of, the planet Neptune is going to be entering the sign of Aries, and he's going to stay there for quite a while. So the planet Neptune rules the sun sign of Pisces and the 12th house of the zodiac. As an outer planet, Neptune is considered a generational planet, so everyone born in your birth year will have Neptune relatively in the same sign and the same degree as you do. So Neptune is a planet that rules dreams, being too naive, illusions, intuition, spiritual things, and psychic abilities. And he can take you places you never imagined or you only dreamed of. So how sentimental are you? How compassionate you can be, and your willingness to make sacrifices? These things are ruled by Neptune. So Neptune enters the sign of Aries on January 26 until May 21st, 2038. That's a long time. But we already know a little bit about Neptune in Aries because he already entered the sign of Aries very briefly March 30th, 2025. So there we go. And that was right after a solar eclipse. So he gave us a little bit of a heads up about what was to come. In Aries, of course, Neptune is going to have more of a Mars-Neptune influence. Since the sign of Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, contagious enthusiasm is possible, as well as religious and spiritual excitement. There's a push forward, and everybody wants to be first, to be involved, and to be the first to touch the sublime, let's say. All of a sudden you awaken and you come out of your years-long slumber that you experience with Neptune in the sign of Pisces, becoming more aware of what's going on around you and more aware of your strengths and who you are. You overcome your fears, your insecurities, maybe even debt, anything 12th house related. You may rely on past experiences to guide you now. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Given the Mars influence over Neptune, passions can get out of control. Anarchy and the lack of control over power and authority can also be a problem, or the feeling that no one is in control can make some matters take on a life of their own. Murders, assassination, wars that seemingly never end, and revolts against governments can also result, as we're seeing now. The planet Neptune brings the spiritual, the occult, and also prophecies to the sign of Aries. In Aries, more of a Mars-Neptune influence, contagious enthusiasm, as the planet Mars bursts into energy. Oil and gases can burn, and in some cases burn in the ocean, like methane and gas leaks in an oil spill. Neptune in Aries is mesmerism, hypnotic trances, and psychology. When we think about algorithms and how it can control and manipulate billions of people across the globe daily, it makes them the single most compelling propaganda machine that has ever existed. Like being in a hypnotic state or vulnerable to suggestions. It's what we can't see and what sways our actions or impulses. Neptune brings his idealism and sometimes his uncertainty to the sign of Aries and jumps into things boldly and without fear or consequences. You could do the same. Neptune is a water-ruled planet and now is under a fire sign. And it's different than what we've ever experienced because none of us have really lived through this transit. It's those things that we can't or don't see that sways our actions and our impulses now with Neptune in Aries. Neptune is also spiritual and bring a new age of spiritualism, altered states of mind through hypnosis, psychology, mind-altering drugs can be prominent topics going forward. And as well of how these algorithms use psychology and behavioral psychology to influence masses of people, so we're also going to see things. We're already seeing like certain countries banning cell phone use for children, or social media for children, especially, it's become a big thing with the algorithms and how they influence our states of mind. So this is a pivotal time, and these planets, Saturn and Neptune, are also going to be in close conjunction, and they're going to get things started. In February 2006, the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune blends the imagination, dreaminess, hope, elation, and sensitivity of Neptune with the planet Saturn and his practical desire to build a firm foundation. So Neptune in Aries brings a need to examine our habits, recognize the need for change, consider healing our spiritual life, and perhaps increase discipline. And you can always get your Neptune report on my website, www.terrynazon.com.